Hello everyone, I'm Mrs. Midnight, and as you can see, even Minnie is with us today, because I bring you the third part of video reacting to my Midnighters creations. So if you haven't already, go get something to drink, because today we have 3 different comics, from Ander Reynosa, or well, his character in Hogwarts Mysteries, Diana Laura, that as you know, her character's name is Garu, and PC Jones, that's actually from the English community, and is the first English Midnighter to send content for this video reaction. Alright, let's start with Ander Reynosa's comic that I say it's his because he's the protagonist slash victim of the prank of the main plot of this comic. So let's see what Juan has in mind, because first we see Garu eating his soup, not bothering anyone, minding his own business, but suddenly Juan arrives and says, "Garu, would you like to help me with a prank? Nai and Danny are gonna help." So the social pressure, like, Nai and Danny are gonna help, you might as well do it. And Garu is like, "I'm not sure. Besides, I'm cursed. I don't want to hurt you." But Juan tells him, "Don't worry, this is not gonna cause anything serious. All the opposite, it's gonna be fun. Come on, what do you say?" Oh my god, I feel that the world is gonna burn. And Garu says, "Alright, if you promise that nothing serious is gonna happen." But I see that Garu is not convinced. It's the social pressure of everybody else is gonna do it, I might as well. So Juan takes Garu to a sandwich and he says, "We have to wait for Nai and Danny and then we'll tell you what to do to start." Alright, and there's Nai and Danny coming, precisely. And Juan tells them, "Alright girls, Garu agreed to help with this prank, so we have everything ready." And then he points at Ander that's sitting on the table across, and then he tells Garu, "You see that guy on that table? His name is Ander, and they say that he doesn't fall for any pranks. So this is personal, he doesn't fall for any pranks, so he has to fall for theirs." And Garu says, "Yeah, I can see. Isn't that Ander?" So apparently Juan thought that Garu didn't know Ander, but Garu not only knows him, but is also friends with them. So Juan tells him, "Yep, that's right. And our prank today is that you are gonna freeze his lunch." Oh my god! So Garu is like, "What? Use my magic? I'm not sure, what if it affects him?" But Juan keeps insisting, and actually there's cynicism in this dialogue because his stance is, "Well, I'm sorry dear, you have to help somehow, and besides you already agreed. So go on with that magic." Wow, talk about cynicism. And the girls are just laughing their asses out to think of how the prank's gonna go. So Juan tells him, "Come on, release that magic." And Garu very hesitantly touches the sandwich, releasing his freezing powers. Now we see Juan, Danny, and Nai laughing at unison at the sight of the frozen sandwich, and Garu asks them, "And now that it's frozen, what do you want me to do?" And Juan is like, "Now put the sandwich close to him without him noticing, and just wait and enjoy what comes next." And the worst part is that Garu does put the sandwich close to him, and Ander, without thinking, "Oh, food, I'm hungry," grabs it. The second it touches his lips, he regrets it, and we see the other 3 barely holding the lobster inside, except for Garu that feels horrible. And Ander even gets pale with the bite because he's like, "It's so cold!" So he rushes out of the Great Hall. Like, I don't know if to go to the infirmary to get something hot to drink or what, but he just rushes out of the scene. The other 3 lose it, laughing their asses out at the sight of poor Ander running with the mouth frozen. And Garu just stands there feeling super guilty and thinking, "What did I just do?" Damn it, Garu, I guess that the social pressure got to you, cause, yeah, sympathizing with Ander. I personally, ever since I was a kid, have never been able to even bite popsicles. You know, I see anyone doing it and it's like, wow, how can you do that and not hurt like hell? But well, let's go for an other Frozen adventure that this one actually makes me think of the first time I saw snow that was precisely here in Ohio in 2024 because I was by myself, Alex didn't live with us yet and Mr. Midnight was still working at FedEx, so I was alone in the mornings at that period and I see it's snowing through the window and my first reaction is like, I need to go out and see this in person. Obviously I had no experience with snow or how much of it you need to make a snowball, so I grabbed a small amount of it and make a tiny snowball that looked more like a golf ball than anything else. And just my luck that precisely in that moment Mr. Midnight arrives and just sees me laughing his ass out that that's a very tiny snowball. This comic made me think of that day, although seeing it well, I think they are not fighting or having a snowball fight because I see that Garu is making a snowball with his magic and Juan, Danny and I are watching. Juan tells him to pass it to him, but apparently Garu used too much strength or his aim failed or something like that because the snowball does not only not get to Juan, but goes straight into the water and plaf, just sinks into the lake. The girls just look at it sadly, the ball fell into the water and we can't recover it. Now how are we gonna play? Garu tells them all, I'm sorry guys, I used too much strength, so that was the problem, too much strength. But if you want, I can go recover it. I don't think the water is too cold. He steps into it. I imagine he intended to swim and to recover the ball from underwater, but the moment his foot touches the water, it freezes, turning into solid ice. The other three stare at him like, what the hell just happened? And Juan asks him, Garu, you're stepping on the water and it's turning into ice? Nai stares at him as well and says, how are you doing that? And Garu just looks at them and says, I don't know how it happened. I didn't even know I could do that. So even he was not aware that he had that power as well. But at any rate, Juan has a very bad idea because he tells Garu, if you're standing on that ice, it must be strong. Is this a piece of... And when he steps on the ice, I think he doesn't even have to fall or anything because what happens is that the moment his foot touches the ice, he starts freezing, he starts getting cold from the reaction of touching the enchanted ice from Garu, and I imagine that the tremble from the cold is what makes him fall into the water. So Garu just stares at him like, Juan! And jumps into the water to try to rescue him, but the moment Garu enters the water, the entire lake freezes, and now both of them are trapped underneath. Nai and Danny stare at them, Danny saying, we can't leave them both underwater, and Nai has the idea of, let's hit the ice. And in the meantime, we see Garu holding Juan in his arms and trying to hit the ice from underneath the water, trying to open a hole. Danny sees this and tells Nai, Nai, there they are, come on! And she jumps into the water, turning herself into a mermaid, but apparently Garu didn't know that Danny could do that, because he looks at her wide-eyed and Danny just tells him, I'll explain later, we have to get you out. So we see Garu and Danny slowly coming out to the surface, and then we see Nai helping Garu out and Danny from underneath the water helping Juan. Once they are all out of the water, we can see that Garu is actually freezing, and in the meantime Danny is still in her mermaid shape, and apparently she is kind of in love with Juan's character because out loud she says that it's great that both of them are fine, but both of them are gonna need a change of clothes or they are gonna get sick. But we see her thinking, especially him, meaning it's great that both of you are fine, but especially him is whom I was worried about. And then Nai interferes saying that they thought they were not going to be able to come out on their own, so Danny and her broke a piece of the ice so they could hear them. That honestly I think that was a good call because I've never been in the position of being under frozen water and with a layer of thick ice on top of me, and knock on wood, I hope I never am or see anyone close to me in that situation, but I can imagine that with the thick layer of ice on top of you, it would be hard to hear what's going on if someone doesn't break it. So I don't think that was a bad idea, thinking it through. But then, when Garu realizes that Danny was the one that helped them, between shivers because he's still freezing, asks Danny, Danny, you helped us, but how is it that you transformed? And Danny just looks at him and says, it's a long story, I'll tell you later. And Nai says about the first time that she saw Danny as a mermaid, don't worry, it happened to me too the first time I saw her. And precisely in that moment, Juan character wakes up, and he's just like, did I miss anything? That I'm sorry to say, Juan, that you missed quite a bit. Fortunately, you're not gonna miss out on anything else because now you're awake and out of the frozen water, but next time that Garu freezes water with his steps, I hope you learn the lesson to not follow the trail. And alright, after that frozen adventure, Mrs. Midnight needs a sip of coffee before reacting to the last comic. And this one is actually from PC Jones. That's the first Midnighter from the English community to share contents with me for this video reaction. And it's important to mention that he was inspired by no other than Diana Laura herself. So let's take a look. And apparently it's Mercula and PC Jones MC, but they are either in a party or a wedding, seems like it because of the white dress of the couple that's dancing next to them. I mean, the guy's suit could be a groom suit, but it could also be a regular one. The girl's dress does give me a lot of bright vibes. And before starting to read, I want to say that the art style in this comic is so gorgeous. It even reminds me of a style of painting. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but the level of detailing, it's almost realism, you know, because you can even see the light bulbs that are hanging from the ceiling reflected on the floor. And that type of thing, that level of detailing is truly what makes projects into real forms of art. And well, I didn't want that to go unnoticed, but now that Mrs. Midnight is done getting distracted with the beauty of the art, let's take a look at the story, because apparently PC Jones and Mercula are looking at the couple dance, and PC Jones says they make it look easy. It probably was. So here I actually have the doubt if he means dancing, that they make dancing look easy but it probably was not easy for them to learn, or if he actually means falling in love or having found each other. PC Jones, I need your help with this. But at any rate, in reply to this, Mercula asks PC Jones, "You really think that?" And PC Jones replies, "Yeah, you don't get that by accident." That I think in that case it seems more like love, in that case that he's talking about, that you don't get finding the right person by accident, and I gotta say I wholeheartedly agree, definitely. But on the next scene we see PC Jones holding out his hand and asking Mercula, "Want to try?" So in this case I assume he means dancing, want to try dancing, and Mercula looks at his hand and slowly reaches out to grab it and says, "Okay." So they start dancing, that they look adorable dancing together, and besides Mercula's outfit is so gorgeous. The color of the dress, that's like emerald or pine green, and the emeralds on the necklace, the earrings, that everything matches. I'm in love with that outfit, I need it to survive. But back to their dancing, we see them enjoying themselves, dancing together, and Mercula tells PC Jones, "This is easier." So she means dancing like that is easier, maybe like slow dancing or something. That I agree. Mr. Midnight and I joke a lot that we have two left feet, both of us. But usually when there is any opportunity to dance, what we do is slow dance. And PC Jones, in reply to Mercula saying this is easier, replies, "Told you." Mercula says, "Don't ruin it." And PC Jones replies to her, "Wouldn't dream of." And we see them dancing a little closer. The faces are a bit closer on the last image than the first one, so maybe they're gonna kiss? I say they should, because they make quite an adorable couple. And I like how PC Jones is with Mercula. I think he deserves. And on the next scene we see them dancing surrounded by the other couples, but at one point of the dance looks like Mercula and PC Jones are the central couple right in the middle of the dance floor. But apparently that was not the end of the whole comic, because there is a next scene when we see Mercula and PC Jones now inches away from each other, this close to kissing, and Mercula tells PC Jones, "Don't let go yet." To which PC Jones replies, "I imagine on a whisper too, wasn't planning." Oh, it's such a gorgeous scene. If I get sentimental here on the spot, it's PC Jones' fault. But before we finish this third video reaction, we actually have another two images from PC Jones that I don't know if they are a continuation of this scene on the ball or if they are independent, but we see Mercula with them. In this case, they are not wearing the elegant gowns or suits anymore, obviously, because they are going on PC Jones' motorcycle and they are taking a stroll next to Hogwarts Express, which is actually very cool. I even wonder, would the motorcycle be faster, or would eventually the train from Hogwarts outspeed it? PC Jones, I need help with that as well. I'm asking PC Jones a lot of questions, but it's for a good cause. But at any rate, we see Mercula hugging PC Jones by the waist because they are both on his motorcycle, and at one point of the stroll on the bike, they get down from it on the side of the highway in front of what appears to be a beach that sunset is definitely my favorite time of the day to look at outside because the colors the sun gets the sky are just so gorgeous, and he made it look exactly as I love it the most. But let's see what Mercula is telling PC Jones. That she says, I don't think I want to go back. Not like this. I want to stay with you, with your family. That part is so sweet because I get where she's coming from. Mercula, when she is not in Hogwarts, lives alone practically because of her parents being in Azkaban. And if that party or wedding, whatever it was from PC Jones's family, and she felt welcome in a warm place where she could dance, be herself, I can imagine why she would want to stay. But then what PC Jones replies her, I love it too, because the reassurance he gives her is so sweet, but also so mature, so good for a healthy relationship, and I love that my Midnighters have those instincts. Because what he says to Mercula next is, hey, you're not choosing one life or the other. You've got both. You don't lose this just because you go back. This is not temporary. I love it because instead of encouraging her to, don't go back to school, drop out of Hogwarts and come with me, what PC Jones tells her is that you can go back to Hogwarts, finish your year, and I'll still be around when you are finished. Like, you don't have to give up on your education, on the rest of your life to still have this. Cheers to the Midnighters for making beautiful art, beautiful stories, and for making me think of Mr. Midnight in the process. And after being reassured by PC Jones, Mercula slowly replies after thinking for a moment, I can do this. And PC Jones reassures her once more by telling her, I got you. That may not seem like a lot of words, but in a situation where you need strength, you need reassurance, and even some encouragement to do something that's hard for you, hearing that the person that loves you and that you love back has got you, believes in you, and that you can do it, sometimes it's all you need. If you like this third video reaction to the Midnighters creations, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so YouTube lets you know when I upload the fourth part or the next contents of the channel. And if you'd like your creations to appear in the next video reactions, remember that you can share them with me on my Facebook, mrs.midnight.